Hello, 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 and welcome to the YNPL review show, where today we're going to look at what happened last week and what's coming up this week. Will Oaksway be the first East-based team to win the YNPL? Who will make the top four in the under-15s North? And also, Joey Bartons made some comments about women pundits in men's football. So Richard really wants to stoke up the fires and wants to discuss, do women value the opinion from men in women's sport? Now that's mate. That's
the answer is no.
They're like whatever. Men are like, well, you know, rah rah rah. I mean, it's a great one to start with, mate. Well, not start with, but you know, to do with later.
What made me think of it was when we have the umpires now who do the MVP awards, and at the end of each game. And sometimes I dare put my 2 penny in and say, I think that. Well, they're like, I think that player. They're like, shut up, mate. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. So I'm like, okay, I know my place. I just filter back into the background. It's not a problem.
It's funny, mate. But it's also good seeing them because the umpires do discuss like lengths of who should get it. So it's quite interesting. And players love it as well.
They do love it. They love it to a point where people actually message me and say, why did our girls not get it? And stuff like that. And I'm like, a bit like the live stream thing. Keep me out of it. It's the umpires, mate.
Last week, mate, throw a man under a bus and everybody. If you're thinking about a live stream, speak to the guy over there.
Speak to him. But do you like the bit I said, approach cautiously?
Yeah.
Because if the screen's going down, woo.
Yeah, stay clear. There should be like a little red, like red revolving light, like. Yeah.
Or we'll have a traffic light system where you can approach. If it's green, you can approach. If it's orange, just tread carefully. If it's red, at your own risk.
Yeah. Mate, it's not even at your own risk. You will die.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, but
they were amazing at Cambridge University, but their Wi-Fi thing did drop in a couple of places. It caused a couple of issues, but we streamed at 6 meg, which was cool.
No, man, I saw the footage. It's absolutely incredible as ever. I was going to say congratulations to Paul Netball Club, who they started their ENG career winning the under-12s Netball Cup, and they've kind of ended their ENG career winning the under-16s Netball Cup. So they've done a full circle. Oh, yeah. They've gone back to the beginning, as you always do, and great competition. Even though there was big teams that didn't turn up on the day, it didn't stop the drama unfolding. Didn't stop close games, us having close games. Paul at one point were 5 seconds away from losing the semi-final. I can still see Haley's face from Sutton Town right now. Like, but to be honest, I was watching the footage again.
The papers, all the news, everybody.
Well, I was watching the footage, and if I was to, again, a man having an opinion over netball, ooh,
careful, mate, careful.
Yeah. I was watching the footage, and one thing I could say is did Sutton Town know how long we left? Because I think game management should have kicked in. Either throw yourself on the floor and delay the game as long as possible, and yeah, something like that. Or when it goes up the court into the final third, do not foul. Do not give away unnecessary fouls, and that's what happened. An unnecessary foul was given, and the person with the ball in their hand is an England international, and it went straight in, draw, and then they went on to win. So 5 seconds, like, how's your luck? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. But the thing is, to put the ball in the net with that pressure on as well is quite incredible. Sometimes when I do the 5-4-3-2-1, if it lands on a very pivotal shot, it's a good thing, and we've talked about this before because it hurries you up. But it also can lean towards someone going, if you didn't say 5-4-3-2-1, we would have won that. So I thought it could have been that instance. But no, good competition. Very proud as well of Mia Lashbrook from Magic, who got the MVP award. Unanimous. Every single umpire, myself, everyone I asked, Mia. The magic shooter, they said, magic shooter. I might be wrong, and I don't mind being corrected, but this is someone who's impressed in front of, well, playing against some of the best players in the whole entire country.
And
but she couldn't even,
Roses.
Yeah, and she couldn't even get into her local county team.
What?
So let me give you a lesson in life. Anyone who plays sport or does anything, someone's opinion of you is their opinion. There's many other people in this world who have different thought processes, different opinions. And if one door closes, there's many more that you can potentially open. So Mia, whoever is who's the county selection, I don't know what they were seeing, but if they didn't fancy her to play in their county team, then obviously there's other avenues to access to reach your full potential. Other counties, yeah. But brilliant success story. I like a good positive success story. So yeah, well done to Paul. They qualify for our ENG Super Cup game in Northern Ireland in February. I had someone message me today from Northern Ireland saying how excited the girls are to play in this game. And I'm going to make sure it's as competitive as I possibly can. It's going to be a proper war. So we'll get that all organised, get the posters all printed, and get excited for it. But before then, let's talk about what happened Saturday. We did the Under-15s Youth Netball Premier League Northern Conference. Like many of our leagues, a very, very tightly contested league. And this is what happened. And here are the scores. So Ribble Valley, they beat Northwich Sapphires 41-21. Got a funny story about them as well. Grangetown, Oaksway, good game this was, 29-33. I think Oaksway, they won it in the first quarter. They had a great start, but Grangetown stayed with.
Didn't they?
Well, they just. I would love to see the scorecard again, because I can't. I'd love to see if Grangetown actually won the next 2 or 3 quarters, but because they were 6-7 points down in the first one, that was the defining moment of the game. But great game to watch. And Oaksway just got over the finishing line. At one point, there was 2 points in it. Oaksway must have turned the ball over 2 or 3 times, and I always say to like Sienna or whoever's next to me, I said, if this goes in, this will change the game. And luckily for Oaksway, it didn't go in, and Oaksway then went on to kind of win. I wouldn't say convincingly; it's not a convincing win, but a lot less stressful than a 1 or 2 point win, that's for sure. Wyre Northwich Sapphires, quite a strange game. Wyre always looked like they was in control, and at the back end of the game, I looked at the score and was like, "Well, what's going on here? Like, how did they creep up? It's like someone creeping up on you in the alleyway or something." And then you're like, "Oh, where'd you come from?"
yeah. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Then hopefully don't kill you.
Yeah, there is that hope.
But Northwich crept up on Wyre, went, "Hello, we're here." And I think Wyre, like myself, were kind of thinking, wow, this score is a lot closer than we thought it would be, but got the win, 39-35. Then Ribble played Grangetown, another good game, drawing at the back end of this game. But I had the Wyre girls behind me, and I turned around to them and said, is there something wrong with Ribble today? Like, they seem really calm and chilled. And in control of their emotions, because Ribble are one of those teams. I said to him in the interview, when I see Ribble on the fixture list, I'm like, yes, Ribble. It's high intense. It's a very aggressive game of netball, very passionate, emotional. They're very watchable team. And I was just scratching my head thinking they're drawing. No one's kicking off. No one's getting frustrated. What's going on? And they won the game. And I actually turned around and said, that's why they won the game, because they were in control of their feelings and their emotions and whatever. So when I did the interview, the girls explained to me that they got a sports psychologist to help them with their emotions during the game. And I do with that,
Richard.
No, I'm all right. I'm all right now. I've got Deborah with me now. Deborah sorts all my problems out.
If your name's not there, you're not coming in.
Yeah, like Deborah is my counsellor. She any grief that goes on, I don't hear about it no more. So no, I'm less stressed because of Deborah. But no, Ribble Valley, well done. Like, it just goes to show that if you lose control of your emotions, that your thought process go all over the joint. And because you did stay calm and in control, you managed to get a very, very good win against a very good Grangetown team. And Grangetown's position in the league definitely does not reflect their ability, that's for sure. Then Oaksway played Wire. Both of these teams were unbeaten coming into this game. Good start from both teams, but Oaksway just had a little bit of extra oomph in the second half. So well done to Oaksway. 4 games, 4 wins, top of the table by 2 points there. Leeds Athletic, because they had a different team in the first round, they lost their first 2 games. So winning these 2 games were going to be important. Good competitive game against Macclesfield, 42-30. They won.
Weren't Macclesfield in the lead at the first 2 quarters or whatever?
I don't think so, but they did stay in contention up until half time, I believe.
I think, yeah, I was like, this is interesting. Macclesfield's bringing it. So,
Macclesfield are good. Again, Macclesfield for me are one of those teams that I don't think we've ever seen their full potential. They've got so much talent. They've got all the attributes. They can move the ball. They can shoot the ball. They've got players that who are good playmakers. They've got tall, strong defenders. They got good variation in their passes. They've got it all. But if you were to ask me what is it they're missing, I wouldn't have a clue. It's like baking the best cake ever and it just not tasting right. Yeah. And you're like, well, I've put all the ingredients in.
I've done it for the exact time they said. Yeah.
But it's not tasting the way it should taste. So Macclesfield, again, I would love to see them at their maximum, but they did actually put on a really good show in their second game, to be fair. So Bramall and Bury, this was a good game. Bury looked like that they frustrated Bramall. Bramall didn't look like half the team they did in the first round. And they had this little flurry before half time and got 1 point and ended up 1 point behind Bury. After that, you could see the confidence building. And they went on to get a good win. But again, like I said to the Bury girls, is like, what happened there? Like, how come you made him look very average in the first half, but then they looked like worldies in the second half, and they pinpointed players being ill and stuff like that or injured, and it was hard for them to keep up. So fair play, honest.
Yep.
There you go.
Like that.
Chester Leeds Athletic. Oh, I've put that round the wrong way.
Have you? I was going.
36-31 to Leeds. Leeds won that game. Probably not as competitive as I thought it would be. I think Chester did start well, but they started well, ended well. But the second and third quarter was where the damage was done. So Leeds got 2 very important wins there. They went from bottom 2 all the way up. I'm just having a quick little look to 5th place, and it's a shame they couldn't get at least 1 win in that first round. But plenty of games for teams to slip up, so Leeds still have a chance of top 4. I think they'll definitely make, but let's see if they can potentially still win the league, and they're definitely capable of winning their next 5 games. So we'll find out. In 2024. Macclesfield Bury, this is a good performance from Macclesfield. This is a proper dominant performance, something we don't see a lot of with Macclesfield. They dominated Bury from start to finish, got a very good convincing win, and it's another team I just hope can just keep that momentum going and push for a top 4 place in the second half of the season. Then the final game of the day was Bramall versus Chester, 24-29. Just off the top of my head, I think Bramall started relatively okay against Chester, ended relatively okay but a bit like the Leeds Chester game, they didn't really turn up in the second and third quarters, and the game probably wasn't as competitive as I was hoping it to be. But well done to Chester. It was a very important win because that keeps them in second place. They did lose for the first time against Leeds, but still remain 2 points behind Oaksway, and they still got to play Oaksway. So Oaksway are not necessarily. Oaksway have got. So if we look at the table, Oaksway are winning so far. Potentially the first team ever from the Northeast to win a Youth Netball Premier League. So a very iconic win that will potentially be. Chester, Ribble and Wyre make up the other top 4 positions. Oaksway still have to play Chester, Ribble, Leeds, who are in 5th. And I believe I think it's Northwich Sapphires and Bury. So they've got a very tough run in there, Oaksway. It's going to be a tough one. 5th place Leeds, Bramall 6th, Northwich Sapphires 7th, Macclesfield 8th, Bury 9th, Grangetown 10th. The fact that Grangetown are 10th tells you all you need to know about that league. Super competitive.
You would never, honestly, in the month of Sunday, you would never put that down as a Grangetown at the bottom or anything like that. It's just that league's still got lots more going to happen. Loads to happen. Literally, just
with teams like Bramall and Leeds in particular in 5th and 6th. Them 2 teams in particular are more than capable of jumping into that top 4. So 2 of those top 4 at least are going to have to fight for their place there. But
I think they all are, mate, to be fair.
No, to be fair, if I was going to vote, I think Oaksway are 100% safe. I'm going to say Chester 75%, then Ribble, Wyre in particular 50-50, I would say. But very competitive league. Can't wait until the second part of the season. But let's have a look at the highlights from the Under-15s Youth Netball Premier League Northern Conference. Round 2.
you go.
There you go. Favourite one of that one is the Berry player who ran. The ball was about to go off court. She catches it, throws it under her legs.
All right. I like the one when they threw it back and it went over.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a cool one. Yeah. So some good, once again, some good highlights, and I've worked out of a way to do the highlights efficiently. My phone, for some reason, it just constantly pauses. So I went and got another phone, and it works like a dream. So now, like 2 hours less of my time is done snipping all of it.
The tech, because you messaged me, didn't you? I have this from a few people, and it is like you got to look at your tech. Your tech can be, you know what I mean, can be the problem, or you got apps running in the background and stuff like that. Especially on Sunday, we were doing 6 meg. So if your internet wasn't that good, you know what I mean? Because some people think their internet's good, but it's actually not. It drops. And then they go, oh, something wrong with you. It's like, I've only got one person complaining. So chances are it's you.
Yeah.
If I had a whole load of people saying it, it'd be like, right, okay, you know, but when you only got one, you're like, okay, right then. But you know, if we got problems, our systems flag up. But yeah, when you said about it, it's like, yeah, just check what you're using. You know, it's one of those things, and it can save you time. It can save you time. There you go.
I've got a lot of stuff on my phone, and it takes up a lot of memory, apps, and trillions of photographs of my wife sends me trillions of the kids every day. She likes it all backed up, so she's got it in 2 devices just in case she loses her one. But the amount of netball photographs, because especially when Liam comes and does his photography, it's very high quality photographs. So when you stick them into your phone, it takes up a lot of memory. So I've realised whatever the amount of stuff clogging up my phone is obviously affecting my ability to just skip to certain parts of matches. So I recommend to everyone, if you've got a spare phone or whatever, use that, because
close your apps down.
Yeah.
that's the most common one. Close your apps down, clear, you know what I mean? Clear the surface, let the system be able to run properly. There you go. And
there you go.
Internet provider.
Well, let's have a look at, so Saturday we have our under 14s Northern Conference. This is the final fixture. And it feels like this Manchester run has gone on forever, to be honest. This is the final fixture of 2023. And let's go through the game. So we've got DNA taking on Chester. So we have 7th against 10th in our first game. Ellesmere Port versus Trafford. So we've got 6th versus 8th. So some really close games here. Leeds Athletic against DNA. So 1st versus 7th. Chester, Ellesmere Port. This is going to be quite a cool one to promote, because the last time we did interviews, both Chester and Ellesmere Port said all we care about is beating each other this season. Looks like one of their seasons are going to end. So a big rivalry game there between Chester and Ellesmere. Trafford and Leeds Athletic. So there you go. Trafford, Leeds Athletic. Wyre and Ribble Valley. So a Lancashire derby. So it is the clash of the derbies here on a Saturday. So we've got the Merseyside derby, or the Cheshire derby, between Ellesmere Port and Chester. We've got the Lancashire derby between Wyre and Ribble. Then after that, we've got Oaksway Grangetown, the North East derby. So we call it like clash of the derby. I don't know, the rivalry round. I don't know.
I have to come up with something for my email on that one. Yeah. I'm gonna make a little note of that derby.
So here we go. A standout game though. This is a standout game. So Wyre against Bury. So Wyre and Bury are both unbeaten so far. Oaksway then will play Ribble, and to cap off the day, we have a Bury versus Grangetown. So will Bury and Grangetown go into that game unbeaten, both potentially with 6 points? That would be a great end to the season, to 2023. So yeah, at the moment, Leeds are winning the league. Then it's Grangetown, Bury, Wyre. Then we've got Oaksway, Trafford, DNA, Ellesmere Port, Ribble, Chester. So Chester, Ribble, Ellesmere Port, DNA, Trafford, because they're kind of all playing each other. in the morning, some opportunities there to get to get a win on the board, or to push up and capitalize on teams potentially losing, the bigger teams losing in the second half of the day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that Bury Grangetown one in particular, and the Bury Wire one. I think Wire in the first round were exceptional. I think this will be a real test, because this Bury team are a big improvement from last season. So will be a good watch, hopefully, on Saturday. So this is the final round before 2023 ends. I am promised tonight I'm going to start sending out the emails for our awards evening. So over the last couple of seasons, we've done online awards. I've been told you've got to do it. You've got to do it by people. Can we have a proper awards evening? I'm taking the plunge. I'm a bit nervous about it, because what I don't want to do is send all the invitations out and get wow. But I'm going to do it. I'll tell you what, Martin, see me at my lowest. Family fun day.
Oh, don't mention those words ever again. So if you really want to scare Richard, just say that, family fun day, and then you see.
Yeah. Martin, see me in my lowest moment ever in business. So it cannot get any worse than that. So I'm going to start knocking out the emails tonight in regards to the awards evening. Get back to me ASAP. Hopefully enough people can attend, so it'll be a good evening. And yeah, we can celebrate youth netball together in person instead of it being online. And
what would also be good is to chat with people about being under the pressure of a game or a live stream, or
well, you like on Sunday, like a lot of those Magic players, their first ENG event was in Cambridge at that venue.
Oh, really?
When they were 12, yeah.
Oh, whoops, sorry, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Right,
so,
yeah.
Again, a lot of those Magic girls have done a complete whole circle, and what a way to kind of end their ENG experience. Then they come runners up.
Yeah.
So it's
man. They played really well. They should be proud of themselves.
Well, like I said to them as well, I said to them, look, you should all be proud of yourselves. It doesn't matter, you're going to learn. Like, you don't realize it now, but you have subconsciously learned so much without realizing it, and to constantly push yourself and to discipline yourself and to commit to your team and to yourself and to your coach for X amount of years is quite an achievement in itself, because not many people have that in their locker, to juggle schoolwork, juggle, personal life, juggle then netball, and to stay sane. And not just any netball, it's performance netball. It's netball where you feel like the world's ended if you lose particular games or you don't play particularly well. A lot of them players, I would probably say 90% of them are playing county netball, they're playing franchise netball. So they should all be proud of themselves. Really, stay in sport. The best thing you can do is to it keeps you grounded, keeps you disciplined, keeps you focused, and keeps you out of trouble. There you go. So well done. I was so happy after Sunday, because it was a good day, really, really good day. And every time we do these competitions now, it's just more. I would say back in the day, I was just saying to my wife earlier, the amount of people that would surround me or harass me and just be needy. It was when I think back to it, was literally ridiculous. Like but now I literally sit there. I don't get hounded. I don't get, someone come up to me and went, "Can you turn the music down?" Like, anyone who has the urge to say that, stop yourself. You sound babyish. Stop.
I've had a couple of people come up to me and go, "Can you turn the music down?" I go, "I'm not in control of the music, but I very much doubt he will." And I'm like, and I'm going to approach him. And it's like, I get it. I get that, there's a lot of noise there, but you're at high energy, high paced, highly trained teams competing, and the music, well, sometimes your selection could do with an improvement, but
yeah.
Which also brings the other question when you ask people, well, what would you put on? And they're like, So there you go.
Oh well, I don't think I don't think I've ever been anywhere like a sporting event or any type of event where there's background music and ever thought to myself, oh, I don't like that music. It doesn't even come into my brain. It's just again, people think way too much. Like it was just. Again, just come and enjoy. You don't need to think about music. You don't need to think about anything but just watching your child and enjoying the competition. And if the urge comes into you to kind of say that the music's rubbish or it's too loud or I don't know, that it's cold. Like people say to me, I'm cold. And I'm like, I don't need another child. I've got so many already. I don't want to add to them. I don't want to add to the flock. There's too many of them as it is.
What I love is, we've got to wait around for an hour or two. And you're like, right, okay. They're saying to me. And I'm like, okay. And they go, and then we've got to go back. And I'm like, so how far do you live? They're like, an hour. I'm like, right, okay. Well, I was up at like 2 o'clock this morning. And I'm not going to probably get back till midnight. So, think of Trump, you there? So,
but I think it's not like people can't share that I've got this drive, and I think what part of is me caring? Like, I know it sounds harsh, but let's talk about something else. Let's talk about I don't know, something proper. Like let's talk about how netball's going to get to the next level. Let's talk about why Man United are so rubbish at the moment. Like really, like I don't need to know how far you're driving. I can't help you with that one.
But the point is, mate, we're in Manchester. We're driving for 3 hours, and then you've got people. We're doing a whole day, and then we come back. So we don't get back to like what 10, 12 o'clock. Yeah, and it's just like, and you're
I get it. Like I did that growing up. Like I went everywhere. My dad. I think my dad I think he wrote a note on his deathbed when he turned around and said, "I still want my petrol money back."
Mate, it was a lot of money carting you two around,
and a bit of torture as well. Me and James,
mate. I've told quite a few people. Right, I'm putting this out there to people. Right. If you think Richard's bad, wait until there's his brother as well, and they're twins. I've had people go to me, he's got a twin, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, is he worse? I said, he's actually worse than Richard. They're like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Well, I put something up online the other day, and basically. I put a picture of my brother was doing some coaching, and the way he kind of approaches his coaching is quite impressive. He really does push the kids, and he's not afraid for the kids to lose in order to move forward. And someone, about 2 or 3 people messaged me saying, "No, are you serious? That are you telling me there's a second one of you?" And I was like, yeah. And they're like, nah. They said that can't be humanly possible.
That's not fair on the world, my friend.
No, precisely.
It must have been some experiment that went wrong.
If you've ever like been in the presence of me and my brother, especially in a social environment, it's not good. It's lucky that we don't drink mine.
I need a knighthood, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not a good. It's a recipe for disaster. But that kind of rounds up our Youth Netball Premier League kind of our talk. But I'm briefly going to set up a debate, which I would be very interested in hearing people's opinion on. So before we go, let's see if we can get this wrapped up very quickly, because hopefully it's something we can finish off next week and bring a for and against argument on. But Joey Barton, he went on Twitter or X, and he basically said he can't stand women commentating in football. Now, the way he come across probably wasn't the ideal way of putting it. But to be honest, he does have a bit of a point. I think at the present moment, there's just too many box ticking in certain realms of society, and football is being attacked more than anything in terms of box ticking. And I just think there is an overload of women commentators in the game now. That's not that's not an opportunity for anyone to say, "Oh my God, you're caveman." No, it's. I think the consumer were never asked what they would prefer. 99.9% of men would prefer a man commentating on their games, and I've said this to my wife during like the Women's World Cup and stuff. For the life of me, during the Women's World Cup, I don't understand why they would have men pundits.
I agreed. Then
yeah, I'm sitting there like, what does a man? Yeah, they know a lot about football, but they don't really know a lot about the women's game.
There's a slight problem here. We're hosting a show on girls' grassroots netball with two men. So what we
but the difference is mine. We don't claim to know.
That's true.
About like my remit is events. So and your remit is live streaming. I would never in a million years try and tell any netball coach what they should and shouldn't be doing with a team. I kind of try to relate what I learned from football into netball to see if I can get see if I can have some sort of input. But would my voice have any credit in the netball world? Not a chance. I don't know nothing about netball, and I won't claim to know anything about netball. But when you bring on, say, for instance, if you're bringing on, say, professional women who play the game professionally in the women's league, and you're getting them to pundit on the men's league, I struggle to kind of relate to that myself, because they don't play, they've never played in the men's league, and I don't get, and I struggle to relate to a man trying to explain a women's game when they have never had any experience playing in the women's game. So I don't really know why they bother having men pundits.
Because the men are more known than the women until the sport gets higher. Maybe that's why.
But I think that's a completely
as well.
No, but I think that's a complete now. When Joey Bartons went on the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan was saying about the presenters and how should they be presenting, and Joey Bartons wasn't really being very clear. But the presenters are not trying to be like women presenters of football. I've got no problem with. They're not trying to know what they're talking about. They're just presenting the show, and they're asking the questions. But it got me thinking, and I thought to myself, well, I know what I would prefer, and I know what I would relate to more. And because netball is probably predominantly the only sport, one of the only sports in the world that is primarily women playing it, and men kind of have a back seat in netball, whereas compared to all the other sports, women have a back seat in terms of exposure, in terms of the financial side of things. I was wondering, okay, let's ask women what they would prefer, because when I kind of tuned in very briefly to watch the England game on YouTube, there were 4 women presenters. So a woman presenter with 3 analysts who were ex-netball professionals. And I was wondering to myself, if you say put 2 men there who say play for the England men's netball team, would women be like, go away, mate, you don't know what you're talking about? Now,
people in the comments, yeah, go on.
So initially, like I'll give you an example. I know for a fact when I try and put my 2 penny into any form of conversation about netball, the umpires or whoever's there just look at me and go, "Get lost, mate. You don't know what you're talking about." And I get, and again, I know my place, and I just again filter into the background and wipe my wound or lick my wounds, right? Yeah. But then I asked a couple of the players in the under-15s league. I said, "Right, girls, let's have a little. Let me ask you a question. What do you prefer? When you're watching netball, say England play, would you prefer to hear the thoughts of a man or a woman? So a man who's playing at his highest standard, or a woman who's playing at their highest standard, or even a woman who's playing at a very average standard, and a man who's playing at his highest standard. And 90% of them said, I would rather hear the opinion of a woman. So when men get absolutely berated for having this kind of opinion on what they'd rather like consume in terms of presenters, this, that, and the other, I've got a funny feeling it's exactly the same when it comes to women as well.
Okay. Comments, please, people.
I've got a funny feeling, Martin, the apple don't fall far from the tree, mate.
I could probably see that actually, because they, people know their sports and stuff. I mean, in Formula One, which is a sport I've loved for many, many, many moons, they've started bringing female, presenters, but they're not in Formula One because there hasn't been a Formula One female driver for many, 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 many years. I was talking like 10, 20 years. So I think it's Beretti or whatever her name was. It's that thing of, that's what I love about Formula One. Women can drive in Formula One. It's a male dominated sport, but women can't. You know what I mean? A female can't go and play in the men's football team. But it's really strange how women have just kept away. But they're trying to address that. But yeah, no, I see. If you're
come on, give it your thoughts then, mate. Formula One. What would you rather consume?
What do you mean?
If it's for instance, if they just had solely women presenters talking about Formula One and giving their opinion on the race and stuff,
what I would prefer is the person who's talking about the drivers, be an ex-driver, an ex-world champion. But unfortunately, there has not been any drivers of a female for a very long time. But to me, I wouldn't care if they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Get on with it. But you're right there. If you've got women talking about male football, fair enough. The tactics are probably the same, but there's a whole different sort of area of play. I mean, it's more physical, I would say, the male side of football. Would you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's different things going on. So, that's a good one.
Again, I think people love to jump on the bandwagon. At the end of the day, it's what you relate to.
Yeah.
When you're talking to football if you're a guy and you're talking with that guy, that's more relatable to you because you would have played with men. Men play the game. They're watching and consuming content where men are playing the game, and that's more relatable to you. That could, do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. There's some terrible male pundits, like Dion Dublin, for example. Oh my God, like absolutely awful. But
Coventry City for Judas.
But the other aspect of it is, I don't want to hear a man give his opinion on the women's game. I'm not interested in a man's opinion on a game. They kind of know, but they don't know.
To me, I disagree with that. I go against that. I don't want it all to be, for instance, if it's a male football game, all female, and just like if it's a female football game, I don't want it all male. You know what I mean? It's a bit like it should be more dominated with the sex of that sport. Simple, because again, you can add things in. It's like we've had the coaches on. We've had Colin and Haley. You know what I mean? And we've got that. Colin played in the male netball team, didn't he? Yeah. Haley obviously played in, and all that lot. So you've got that sort of mixture there, which is really cool. And they've done a couple of weeks ago now, but they've done it. Told us about the overhead passes and how they thought about them. So,
I wonder how many people, especially when Hayden was doing commentary and giving his analytics over, I wonder how many people or how many women were listening and going, "Shut up, mate. What do you know?"
Well, if you want to have a go at commentating, people, let me know in the comments or speak to us directly.
No, but it'd be interesting to know if, because he was a guy, did that did that take something away from the experience? Would you have rathered a woman to put that to do the commentary? Because I know for a fact someone, when we were doing our the analytics show, and Hayden was basically showing us everything about netball, and me and you were just sitting there just taking it all in. Yeah. Someone basically said, what the hell do they know? Just a bunch of guys sitting, did like referenced us as guys in the pub and they don't know what we're talking about. But again, I get it, because you know, me and you obviously no experience in netball, but Hayden, but Hayden as well. You know, what can he really, in terms of his experience playing netball or what he's achieved in netball? There's nothing. There's no credibility there on that side of things. Even though what he was saying, I felt was right.
Mate, I had coaches come up to me saying they didn't like what he was doing because it was giving away their secrets. So you tell me, he don't know what you're talking about.
That's good. Interesting point. Again, a lot of these I'm going to snapshot it and put it onto Instagram. But the point I'm trying to make is, women out there, you know, men get attacked from every angle when they dare mention that they'd rather, say, a man commentate on their football games, right? But is it the same for women, especially netball? Do you feel that your experience watching netball is devalued if a man is primarily, say, the commentator or the analyst of that game? Because in theory, they don't know what the women's game's like because they don't play it.
Mate, I've got a question. Here's one out there. I might even clip this and put it on my thing if you don't beat me to it. Is the reason why England Netball don't ask for my services because I is male?
Oh.
Votes on that one. Yes or no, people? I want to know. What do you reckon? Is it because I'm male?
That's because you're connected to the ENG, mate.
Look, we know that's the truth.
But no, let's see if we can have a good open discussion next week. Let's get some pros. I would love to get a woman on who basically says, no, don't want to hear what a man's got to say. You ain't got a clue what you're talking about. And I'd love to get someone on who just basically says, yeah, it doesn't bother me as long as what they're saying has a lot of value.
They've got value in it, you know. I don't care. But if it doesn't, then obviously hella high water. But all right, get them on, mate. It's going to be an interesting one.
We give it a go. Hopefully, my disclaimer here. Hopefully, anything I had said has offended you. If I have offended you, please.
Why doesn't say that? Mate, I've got a great thing that says if anybody wants to prosecute from anywhere in the world, they've got to actually do it in our county. So don't you worry about that. I've got that covered.
Yeah, brilliant. Happy days. So yeah, we're trying to stoke up a debate next week, but I'm also, to end next week, going to do a little Christmas themed quiz where I'm going to put, because I'm addicted to Deal or No Deal at the moment, I'm going to have 3 envelopes. So if you win the quiz next week, you have the opportunity to pick one of the 3 envelopes, which has a particular prize. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards a voucher, an Earn Not Given jumper, and toilet roll. So next week,
that would have been the best prize.
Oh, it would have been, yeah.
£300 for the toilet roll, mate.
So next week, I'm going to do a Christmas quiz to wrap up the review show for the season. And then we're going to say goodbye and have a little break before we return in January. So, Martin, always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you as ever for putting these shows on. And we look forward to seeing everyone Saturday for the final round of round of fixtures for the Youth Netball Premier League Northern Conference. See you Saturday.
And don't forget to subscribe, people. We're on Twitter, YouTube, obviously, Instagram, and I believe you're on LinkedIn as well. Right. Okay. Thanks a lot, people. Catch you soon.